from a young age, I grew up in a split home. That was very, very difficult for me because I realized down the road that led me to a bunch of complications in my character and how that affected the life decisions that I would make. I went to church when I was younger, but it was just kind of the Bible school thing where I would go every now and then. And even that kind of scared me for a little bit because they would ask me a question and I would get the answer wrong and I would get made fun of from the other kids. So I ended up just stopped going to VBS as a whole. As I got older, I kind of made the commitment to myself when I turned about 15 and I got my driver's permit that I was going to drive myself to church. And I did, it just didn't really stick. So I went every now and then, but I was your lukewarm Christian for sure. Coming from a split home, my father was pretty absent in my life. It led me down the road to not so great decisions in my life. It led to not understanding how a healthy relationship works. I went through several unhealthy relationships, alcohol consumption, and I'm obviously underage, smoking, and just not staying abstinent as well. And I always had like this empty pit inside of me that I wanted more of the Lord, I just didn't know how. And I really wasn't surrounded by people that would lead me that way either. So I found out about Joy Church through one of my best friends, Isaac Davey. He was part of the friend group that I filtered into, and him and his family both go here. The Davey family has blessed me in such a great way. But they introduced me to Joy Church, and my first experience was something that it's honestly hard to describe because it felt like I had finally found my home church in a way. I church hopped for a very long time because like I said earlier, I just wanted more and I wanted to find out what I was being called to because I could feel it. I just didn't know where I belonged. I didn't know where to go. And whenever I was invited here to Joy, it was just like, yes, like this is it. This is where you're supposed to be. This is where you're going to grow, and this is just where your life with Christ is truly going to begin. What stood out to me about Joy Church whenever I first came was I was so used to the bare minimum teaching that I was getting in other places. Pastor Jim does a great job of just making things that might seem so complicated to others. You know, they read scripture and they're just like, but it's not complicated. He breaks it down in a way where you can understand and you can learn from it and you can actually filter that into your life. And that's something that just really stuck with me and helped me truly start growing in my faith. We have a great college group here where we are just literally a huge family and we will invite anybody in so naturally and so easily. My favorite thing about Joyride is not only do we get to learn and get closer together as, you know, we're in the same age group and we're learning the same things, going through the same, you know, steps in life, but we also just get to have fun with each other. You know, it's really cool getting to see that everybody has a heart for the Lord, and you don't see that in this age group very often. So with everybody just being so invested and just so ready to grow and just working as a team and just holding each other accountable, that's something so beautiful to find in this age group because you don't see that often. So with as big as a group that we have here, it's just mind-blowing that it even exists. This is definitely a church that you can find your next step with. And you really can't find that in many places. I mean, I hopped for a long time, and this is one of those places where you can find a family and you can find a place that's kind of like a safe haven, and you can find your walk with the Lord in this place for sure.